The wrestling universe keeps changing while the big players battle it out for their titles and prove their might. To some, it may seem too much to take, but the players and fighters that take part in it dedicate their whole lives to the skill that is martial arts. In today's video, we have a certain individual who consistently makes headlines, and since August 1st is number 3 in the Ultimate Fighting Championship light heavyweight rankings. First up, for the first monumental win, we have the famous Magomed Ankalaev versus Marcin Prachnio. Let's take a look back at some of Ankalaev's most defining moments in the Octagon, as we got to witness his incredible winning streak to 9 straight. The mixed martial artist of Russia was on a 2-fight winning streak when he added Marcin Prachnio to his highlight reel after being defeated by a classic Hail Mary submission from Paul Craig in his Ultimate Fighting Championship debut in March 2018. During the UFC's first trip to Russia, Ankalaev delivered big time. On the fateful day of the 15th of September 2018, the fighter appeared to be looking for a finish of Marcin Prachnio from the first second, and he got it before the first round ended. We're sure all the fanatics out there can agree on just how fascinating the match was. As Prachnio lunged in with a strike of his own, Ankalaev sent him briefly to the floor with a beautiful check hook. Then he delivered a powerful combination highlighted by a left high kick that sent Prachnio flying. Ankalaev stepped up his ground and pound, forcing Herb Dean to call the fight. Second on our list of best moments is the Magomed Ankalaev versus Dalcha Lungiambula match. On November 9th, 2019, the Russian martial artist scored the most important goal of his career against Dalcha Lungiambula. Here are the deets. In Russia, the two explosive strikers collided for just over 2 rounds. The martial artist ended the chess match with a stunning front kick that Lungiambula had no idea was coming. This finish made everyone take notice. Ankalaev is the real deal. Lungiambula made his UFC debut in June 2019 against fellow newcomer Daquan Townsend after dominating the South African regional scene. The Congo native finished Townsend with strikes early in the 3rd round to earn his first Ultimate Fighting Championship victory. Number 3 on the defining moments for Ankalaev is, of course, the match against Ion Cutelaba 2. The first meeting between Magomed and Ion Cutelaba in Norfolk, Virginia, produced one of the most perplexing scenes in recent memory. Ankalaev, being Ankalaev, immediately got off to a fast and furious start, peppering Cutelaba and forcing the referee to stop the fight. Cutelaba wasn't hurt, he was just playing possum, so the Ultimate Fighting Championship decided to bring it right back, and the two faced off again at UFC 254. By now, the man was quite done with all the controversy, so Magomed did what he does best. He let his fist do the talking. The prolonged debate ended with him knocking Cutelaba out cold in the first round. It sure was a satisfying moment for the fighter, and it helped propel him to the top of the UFC's light heavyweight rankings. Next on our list is Magomed's fight against Volkan Oezdemir, where he picks the former apart. In this fight from the previous year, Ankalaev cemented his position as a strong contender in the UFC light heavyweight category. The Russian defeated previous title challenger Oezdemir at UFC 267. Oezdemir started out strong and was aggressive, but Ankalaev was calm and well-timed his strikes. Throughout the fight, our boy here appeared to be one step ahead of Oezdemir, whether they were close together or viewing from a distance. In round 2, Oezdemir was cut close to his left eye by a short right hand from Ankalaev. The terrible wound bled profusely, but it wasn't nasty enough to call off the fight. Our fighter showed more technical qualities in his fighting throughout the last round, winning by unanimous decision. Ankalaev has now won 7 straight matches after this triumph. The winning streak also includes victories over Ion Cutelaba and Nikita Krylov, among others. In the final second of their 3-round fight in March 2018, Ankalaev lost to Paul Craig by submission, marking the sole defeat of his professional career. Talk about a streak unparalleled. Next on today's agenda is the fight between Magomed and Santos. On Saturday at the Apex facility in Las Vegas, the ranked international master of sport defeated Thiago Santos in the main event by a decisive unanimous decision. Ankalaev's quickness and counter-striking propelled him ahead of the imposing Santos right away. Early on, Moreta was the aggressor, but the 30-year-old fighter was there to fend off the majority of his rival's advances. In the second round, Santos' willingness to throw first proved to be fortunate. In an otherwise unremarkable 5 minutes, he clipped Ankalaev with a left hand, forcing him to the ground. In the third, as his leg kicks began to accumulate, Moreta showed more energy and signs of life. It was challenging to score because Ankalaev was still skilled at the counter. Ankalaev's wrestling came into play in the 4th round. His first takedown attempt was successful, and he used his control to easily win the round. Much remained the same in the 5th round. Magomed controlled Santos in the clinch against the cage, even though he was unable to achieve a takedown to claim the victory. Although Ankalaev's performance wasn't the most spectacular, it was nonetheless proficient and successful. He will continue to be promoted as a potential light heavyweight title contender. Talk about a battle that leaves you on the edge of your seat. Next up, let's talk about the fact that Magomed feels unappreciated after UFC 277 and wonders if he will get a title opportunity after 9 victories in a row. The UFC light heavyweight contender believes that, given the body of work he's amassed and the results he has been receiving, he is being overlooked. On the main card of UFC 277 this past Saturday, with scores of 18-1 in MMA and 9-1 in the UFC, stopped veteran Anthony Smith by second-round TKO to record his 9th straight victory. Despite his victories, he doesn't feel fully appreciated even though he's had a strong performance so far. He feels as though he already merits respect. During his UFC 277 post-fight press conference, the Russian fighter urged the media that they should respect him. Few people can boast of a 9-fight winning streak, and while looking back on the precedent that has already been set with Jiri Prochazka was given the opportunity to defend his title after 2 victories alone. He, on the other hand, received nothing after 9 fights. In his professional career, Ankalaev has only once suffered a loss, in their 2018 battle, which he was winning until he was submitted late in the 3rd round. Paul Craig was the opponent. He has since defeated prominent athletes like Nikita Krylov, Volkan Oezdemir, Thiago Santos, and now Smith. Whatever you may say about your boy here, the consistency and the sheer energy he brings to his fights are unparalleled. Next, let's wrap this up with an overview and journey to the top. Although it may be hard to imagine, not all fighters are born with spectacular skills. Ankalaev was just like the rest of us, until he decided to go down a path seldom of us think to do. The man began his wrestling training for 1 year while being a student at Dagestan State University, where he graduated from the sports faculty. Now, we don't know about you, but the task of training along with academics simply seems too hard. Yet the Russian fighter not only managed to do this, but he also excelled at it. And that's not all. He also competed in combat sambo at the same time, earning the title of Master of Sports in the discipline. Because of the similarities between mixed martial arts and combat sambo, he was drawn to the idea of transitioning to MMA. He went on to become the Russian and world amateur MMA champion. The Russian Mixed Martial Arts Federation also named Ankalaev the 2015 Mixed Martial Artist of Russia. The young fighter stated that he does not eat fast food or drink soda, and went on to add that he is constantly engaged in training. So, Magomed appears to be someone who takes his craft seriously and leaves no stone unturned in order to prepare for his fights. Don't they say slow and steady wins the race? The light heavyweight's rise in the UFC has been gradual and steady, but by no means should it be considered fragile. Now, you may question just how good this Russian fighter is, and the simple answer lies in his stats. The 30-year-old Dagestan native entered his UFC 277 fight against Anthony Smith on an 8-fight winning streak, and now has the perfect opportunity to establish himself as a true title contender. He would have been undefeated with an 18-0 record, if not for a last-second Hail Mary submission loss to Paul Craig in his UFC debut. Being 17-1, has since established himself as the division's dark horse, with victories over Ion Cutelaba twice, Nikita Krylov, Volkan Oezdemir, and Thiago Santos. That's a wrap on this video. Tell us which fight was your favorite, and if you think we missed something, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see ya in the next one.